Hey,
Oh, we didn't
welcome
even know y'all
back.
was there.
Welcome back to the Down South Philly show. I'm your Down South Philly co-host, Dom. We got your other co-host here, DP. What's going on?
In the building.
What's going
Tell them
on,
about the gun line, boss. What we got on the docket today?
man? Look, we just here to holler at y'all real quick about these trades that just happened right before the trade deadline. It's been some teams trying to go all in. They think they got a chance at making a deep playoff run. Few teams around the league made some trades, and we here to talk about it. Which one you want to talk about first?
Let's start off with the division, man. I want to get to the big money moves that Washington just made, getting Lattimore for what did they give up for? I don't know what they gave up for him. It don't even matter. But this move basically tells me that they feel as though, the window is now. I mean, and they're doing exactly what you're supposed to do after you have identified your quarterback. He on a rookie deal. He literally still a rookie. So I like the move for him. I'm not worried about it. I feel like he's definitely gonna be an improvement over what they already have. Not worried about it because we got dogs on the outside that are no stranger to Lattimore. So like the move for them. Not really worried about it. It does make them better though.
I agree. I agree. It makes them better, and I look at it as it like a right now they lead in the division in the NFC East. We have yet to play them as the Philadelphia Eagles, but like you said, they identified their quarterback. Jaden Daniels is looking good right now, and a weak spot that they have is their defense right now, and especially the corner. So I kind of look at it two ways. With them leading in the division with a chance to uh, make a playoff run, you tighten that defense up, and you potentially got a player who you can re-sign next year, and that's one less move you got to make in the offseason. So you go ahead and secure that spot, Lattimore, maybe they give him 2 to 3 years or whatever, and, secure that spot. And so now when the offseason comes, maybe they just have to grab one other corner. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they already got Lattimore. So it's kind of like the opportunity presented itself. This could help us now, but if not, you know, that's one less move we got to make next season. We can just go ahead and re-sign Lattimore. He'll already be in the system. So it's kind of a win-win situation because I don't see them not re-signing him unless he just go out there and end up just being trash for some reason or suffering some kind of injury. So I can see them seeing that be a somewhat of a long-term player for them more than just like a one-season thing.
Yeah.
And another thing, like DP was saying, I don't see, as far as them playing the Eagles, I guess it's better than them having forwards out there matched up on AJ, but I don't think as far as them winning or losing the game, if the Eagles are playing ball the way that we play ball, I don't really see them beating us. Not saying it's not possible, but we should be able to go in there and still do our thing. And we got more than just two receivers anyway. We can kill you with a tight end. We got guys in the slot, running back or whatever. So
Saquon coming out the backfield.
we should be running the ball on them boys anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
that's it. That's all I got for that trade.
Well, then we can slide over to the only other move that was made, which is kind of a head scratcher to me, not gonna lie. Dallas, man, they continue to do stuff that just don't make sense. So they send a 4 over to the Panthers for Jonathan Mingo, which is I think a second round pick for the Panthers last year. So he a 2-year guy. This is year 2 for him. I think he only had like a couple catches this season on a terrible ball club. I just don't see it one moving the needle. Maybe from their point of view they feel like he is a piece that they could potentially mold into a number 2 for next year. But they definitely should have been more of sellers than buyers. during this trade deadline, especially with the news that they already knew that they was gonna lose Dak for at least 4 games. So real head scratcher for me.
Yeah, I agree. So another thing, um, or another situation where I look at where, I guess that could potentially be a long-term move for them. Well, I guess it is because he only in his second year, so I guess they'll
Mhm.
continue to keep him into the rest of his contract out. So maybe it's one of those things where they like, hey, you know, um, we'll go ahead and get this guy since he's available. That is more of a off-season type move, but hey,
Mhm.
maybe they just getting ahead of the 8 ball. Maybe he can help us now. If not, I would say he already in the system, but they probably about to fire Mike McCarthy at the end of the season anyway. So as far as that part of it, it probably won't matter because they'll probably have a new system in there next year. But maybe it was just Jerry Jones being a little bit ahead of the 8 ball, just grabbing another wide receiver. Maybe he could be like a wide receiver 3 for them next year, or just you know bring his potential out and be whatever. He really like a newer player. He haven't really played like that, so I guess they're gonna see what they can get out of him. As far as anything else, I mean it's too little, too late. They should have been making moves like that a long time ago, before the season started. You go get a guy like that before the season starts. So I don't know what they're doing over there in Dallas. We have yet to figure it out. I don't think they know. I think Jerry Jones just was trying to make a trade with anybody, and that's the one team that bit. They was like, "Oh, we get some for this dude, bet." So because they ain't trying to do nothing but stack draft picks anyway. So they was like, "Hey,
Mhm.
you gonna take them? We'll give them to you because he ain't gonna do us no good over here. So we might as well get a something for him. That's another pick in the draft." So Dallas fell for it, I guess.
Banana in the tailpipe. So we have the remaining two teams in the NFC East that's remain still and didn't make no moves. So from one standpoint, you got the Giants who are at the bottom of the league. So it made sense for them not to be buyers, and evidently they weren't trying to sell anything either. And then you have the Eagles, which generally we always, if even if nobody else is making big time trades, we do. We don't do anything this go around, and I'm actually okay with it. I like the guys that we have. Obviously, there were like big name people that I wouldn't have mind adding, but outside of a Max Crosby or Miles Garrett, it wasn't really anything that I felt like we needed like that. So I was actually okay with how we staying put for once. I like what I see out of the young guys that we have. They are developing. It seems like defense, particular, is gelling at this point of the season. So they're just getting better with each game, and I don't think that you need to mess with that symmetry that they're building. So and on offense, we starting to get things rolling too. So I really don't think that it was anything that we necessarily need. Would it be nice to get some depth pieces? Yes. But I mean, even from a depth standpoint, it's not much that I could really think of that was like a glaring need. So I actually agree with how we're not making no moves this year.
Yeah, I agree. Usually when we made other moves, it was obvious we needed, this or that or whatever. Like it was obvious we might have needed a linebacker or tighten up at safety or something like that. This year, it wasn't no obvious needs. It wasn't nothing like just standing out. Like because we got corners, we got safety, we got safety depth. The only thing that we may be lacking in is maybe linebacker depth, but who knows? Those guys have yet to be seen. Hopefully, we stay healthy at linebacker and we don't have to see those guys. But as far as the offense is good. Everybody relatively healthy. So it wasn't really no glaring needs. It was nothing we just needed to go out and get. It would have if we would have got somebody, it would have been us strengthening a strength or something like that. Like it was only one person I wanted in the. If we was
Mhm.
gonna get anybody, it was only one person that I would have gotten. That would have been Max Crosby. But I've been wanting the Eagles to get Max Crosby for like the last 4 years, just because like he's one of my favorite players. I think he a dog. and I would love to see him as a Philadelphia Eagle.
Hmm.
But outside of that, I didn't really think we needed to make no move. These guys are starting to learn Fangio's system. They starting to gel. Um, they starting to develop more. A lot of these guys are young, so just give them time. Which I've been saying since day one, and it's been working out. So I didn't really need the Eagles to make the move. I wasn't surprised. Howie pretty smart in that regard, so I didn't see him going out just throwing away a draft pick to get a guy in here we didn't need, and probably would come in and mess up the chemistry of the team that they already building. So um, I like it.
Yes, sir. So we done with the NFC East, but we did kind of mention the Panthers, so I guess we can move on to them. Obviously, with the down year that they have, and they were sellers. They traded away Deontay Johnson to the Baltimore Ravens. Um, that was a good move for the Ravens. Obviously, they felt like they needed, more depth at the wide receiver position to move the needle. Because they do have the running game kind of sold up, so they missing kind of like that playmaker on the opposite side of Flowers. But that bolsters a nice receiving core. So they got Bateman, they got Deontay Johnson now, and they got Flowers, along with two tight ends and obviously Derrick Henry and the other running back Justice Cunningham. So, and I think they also made a move. They got Tre'Davious White. Don't know what he got left in the tank, but once upon a time he was a dog. So, um, their defense is the weak part of the team. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't try to do more on that side of the ball. But I guess the moves they made sense. How you feel about what the Ravens did?
Um, Same thing you said. You know, they did need a little bit more help at the wide receiver, so that gives them a little bit more depth and another playmaker at the same time. They got the running game with Henry, even though seem like they don't want to use him. They use him. They use him because obviously he leading the league right now, but he should have way more carries and way more yards than they have. But I'm not even gonna harp on that. But I think they made some good moves that help them. That could help them. They kind of been lacking on defense a little bit. They don't have the same defense they had last year. And as far as offense, they kind of been pretty much a well-oiled machine on offense when they don't get in their own way. So I feel like when Deontay Johnson get up to speed, he'll definitely help him out.
So we had two teams who couldn't be more on the opposite end of the spectrum, trading in the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tennessee Titans. So the Chiefs got DeAndre Hopkins from the Tennessee Titans, which I think is a good move. Obviously they lost Rasheed Rice, um, and just never really had a piece to complement or cover up that loss of Rasheed Rice. They lost Pacheco, but they was able to pick up Hunt right off the street. They still undefeated. So Mahomes and Andy, you can't ever really count out. But I do like the move, and I think this past Monday, he already started paying dividends. So, if it's anybody whose offense that you don't have to worry about whether they make a move or not, it's Kansas City. So I did like that move for him.
Yeah, and we don't typically see Kansas City really make any moves by the trade deadline. So that this right here shows you that look, we just won 2 Super Bowls. They probably already thinking, look, we can win with the team we got, but we really want to get this three-peat. And so we doing everything we can to go ahead and get this because this is like probably like a once in a lifetime thing. How many times you gonna be in a position how many times you gonna be in a position to win three
Yeah,
straight
3 in
Super
a row,
Bowls?
yeah.
So, you got to get it while the getting is good because down the line, it's so many things that can happen: injuries, players retiring, miss a piece of here, pieces there, coaches moving on, whatever. So they're going for it, which I think they should do. D Hop is scary with Patrick Mahomes. Like DP was saying, we already see him, doing this thing in the first game that they playing. So it's only gonna get better from there because now you got you got to watch D Hop, you got to watch Kelsey, you got to watch the Rook. They just got, man, they got so many weapons over there. With Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, anything can happen. Andy Reid scheming up these passes. I mean, the pass game and the offense and stuff like that is gonna get crazy. So they only gonna get scary as the season goes. They undefeated right now, so I can see them being right back in the Super Bowl. Whether they win it or not is to be determined, but it ain't. I mean, anything can happen, but it ain't too many teams coming out the AFC that I really think gonna give them a run for their money. They
Okay.
could, but I think they did the right thing by making that trade and uh, helping Patrick Mahomes out with another weapon. And D Hop is a hell of a weapon. This man, everything that come in his vicinity, he catch it.
Everything. So he ain't he even if he lost a step, he still got them hands. So we got Buffalo, which they didn't make theirs. They made theirs way before the deadline, but picking up Amari Cooper from the Browns. Smart move. Um Obviously they had a bunch of young guys and no name wide receivers around Josh Allen. So they just needed, a playmaker out there that he can count on. And obviously they felt as though, losing Diggs was a hell of a loss for them. They lost, not only did they lose Diggs, but they lost Gabe Davis. So they had to start over with basically all young guys. And in order to compete with teams like Kansas City, which obviously everybody in the AFC is chasing, you need playmakers. I don't understand why, people try to act the media try to act like quarterbacks, as soon as they get paid, they don't need big time playmakers anymore, but it couldn't be farther from the truth. So I like that move. Amari Cooper still got something in the tank. I'm looking forward to see what they do in the postseason.
Yeah, I agree. That's just a situation where you opening it up for all the other wide receivers as well, because now they got another guy you got to account for, and we already know what Amari Cooper can do. So now you opening it up for the Rook they just got, which we seen that happening already. Um, he been scoring and stuff like that, and then got Amari Cooper. He scored in like his first game, so I think they're just gonna open the offense up more. They're running the ball and stuff more now, so that's gonna open up the pass game. So it's a good move for them.
This next one is probably one of the most obvious ones that pretty much everybody saw coming. Um, the Detroit Lions trade for Zadarius Smith from the Browns. Obviously they had a huge loss when Aiden Hutchinson went down a couple weeks ago. And the way that Detroit is playing, they looking like they could end up in New Orleans playing, for a Super Bowl. So why not? Uh, Obviously you can't replace a guy like Hutchinson, but at least try, to get back some of that production. So I really like the move. Zadarius Smith is a dog, and it just makes sense.
Yep. I agree. They bolstered their defense, make up for Aiden Hutchinson. The move they needed to make, they had to go get somebody. If you're gonna be all in, because as we know, they could bring that same team back next year and be playing totally different. So you gotta take advantage of the moment when you're in the moment. So I think that's what they're doing.
Man, this one is another one that was made a little earlier, but we never really talked about it on the show. Give me your thoughts on Devontae Adams to the Jets.
So Devontae Adams to the Jets. I don't know. I guess he the man wanted to get out of this situation. It seemed like he been wanting to get out of Vegas for a while. I guess in his mind he was like, hey, I want to go play with somebody I know. So he went to go to the Jets. Which the thing with the Jets is they had the potential to be a good team, but it's just like they don't have the same defense that they had. Offense is not clicking. Rodgers seems to have lost a step. So now Devontae Adams is in a situation now for them to go get Devontae Adams. It made sense. They you open it up for Garrett Wilson. Now you got to account for Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson. Now they only played I think like 2 games together so far. So maybe they start clicking even more. We could tell in the last game they starting to find a rhythm or whatever. But will they be able to get out of this hole that they in? Probably not. But anything is possible, but they dang near mathematically out of it. So, once you start getting mathematically out of it, it's over. Like it's so many games left, they would have to truly run the tables. Um, but it's yet to be seen. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with you. I kind of think it's too little, too late at this point. They just waited too late to get started. And not only that, their defense ain't the same as it was last year. So I think they kind of really missed their window when Rodgers got hurt last year, to at least, if not make it deep in the playoffs, to at least, get their feet wet in the playoffs and then try to run it back this year with the addition of maybe a Devontae Adams. But I think at this point, they'll really be, it's going to be a dogfight for them to get in the big dance. And then once they get there, maybe they can win a game or two, but I think it's gonna be too difficult for them to even get in the playoffs. But we'll see.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was the last trade or not, but one thing I meant to mention when we was talking about Dallas is because you kind of brought up that you thought they should have been sellers. Now, I agree with that, but I also know that Jerry Jones is not going to them to be sellers. That's Jerry Jones admitting this season is probably over. I effed up in the off season. Like Jerry Jones is not going to do that. He literally was just telling everybody, you know, we still got a chance, this and that or whatever. He just making everything look like, it's gonna be all good or whatever. So Jerry Jones is not going to admit a defeat. He not gonna be selling anything. Um, and if he was, who was he gonna sell? So, um, as much as I think they should have been sellers as well. Um, truth
You
be
know
told,
what would have been a crazy trade, and obviously they wouldn't have done it. But if they would have traded Micah Parsons to Detroit, that
man,
would have been a blockbuster trade.
yo, the internet would have went crazy. The internet would have went crazy, bro. It would have went crazy, and I think they gonna pay Micah. Um, because why wouldn't you? But he the best thing going on that defense. He's the type of player you build a defense around. Um, my only issue with Micah is probably like playoffs, how he is in the playoffs. But outside of that, um, if he with the right coach, it's a lot you can get. He's very versatile. So it's a lot you can do with Micah. So I don't see them letting him get out of the building. But it's Jerry Jones, so you never know with Jerry Jones. Nothing really surprises me with that man. So, but I do agree. They should have been selling somebody,
Mm-hmm.
or just stood pat. It's like whatever. But the more dumb moves they make, the better for me.
I take some dysfunction.
Yeah.
Well, really, The last moves I wanted to talk about was from the first place Steelers. Well, I guess they're not in first place no more now that Baltimore just swept
Right.
the Bengals, but they made two big moves. They traded for Mike Williams from the Jets, and they traded for Preston Smith. Both solid moves. Obviously, the Steelers are way better than most people thought they would be coming into the year. Um, they won, they won like 4 games before, excuse me, before Russell Wilson stepped in because he had a calf injury or whatever. But now that he back, um, it seems like they stepped it up a notch. Defense was playing lights out before he even got there. Um, or got back in the lineup, and both of those moves make sense. Defense could use some help outside of T.J. Watt with the pass rush, and they needed a number 2 to go with George Pickens. So I'm interested to see how that pans out throughout the year, and hopefully it pays off this week against them Washington Commanders.
Yeah, I agree. They made moves that can make them, both their defense. They kind of like strengthening their strength. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't really have a lot to say about that trade. I do feel like it helps them. It should help them out. If anything, it's some solid depth. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll see how far the Steelers can go. I think with them having Russell Wilson in there and they getting ready to play Washington. Now this maybe because I got some interest in this game. I'm thinking more about it, but to me, uh, this is the first time I'm kind of looking at Russell Wilson as like this is the game this is the reason why you put Russell Wilson in instead of Fields because he can go win you a game like this, like because I feel like maybe Fields going up against Washington, he might have not been able to get the job done, but I think I kind of feel like I trust Russ more in this situation, going there against a team that's kind of on fire right now and going there and pull you out of dub. Don't make no crazy mistakes, and a lot of defense to do what they do and take what they on offense take what the defense is giving them and come out of there with the victory. So we'll see how. Um, that trade helps them out on defense and things of that nature as the season goes.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to seeing if these moves pan out or not. Obviously, all moves ain't gonna work. But for the most part, those were the big moves that I wanted to talk about today. Um, so we didn't pretty much cover like all of the big time moves that happened by the trade deadline, where that just passed over a couple days. So I'll be looking forward to see who's gonna pan out and who's not. It's
Yeah.
been another dope episode of the Down South Philly Show
Yes, sir.
with your host Dom and DP. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know how you thought if we missed your team, if you felt like your that trade needed to be highlighted. Go ahead and drop it in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah. And tell us how y'all feel about the trades in general. And
And
we
we
out.
out.